I had some friends that they were about to have their baby. All right, so they're staying in an apartment, and like when I say about to have the baby, like they're on their it's their due date that day,
Oh man. Yeah.
and then they got water coming into their ceiling from a bad uh, roof leak that spurred up because there's a bad storm. Anybody watching this, if you have a dream and it gets crushed and you didn't feel like you were able to finish, and you have never really felt completed in something, I encourage you to pick a goal and reach it, meet it, and accomplish something great. Chase something that's worth chasing and complete it.
Welcome to another episode of Konnect Media, and today I got a good friend of mine that I met about a couple months now. We've been knowing each other, and man, I'm telling you, since I met this guy, I've been inspired by what he do and what he's been accomplishing. And today he's gonna actually introduce himself first, and we're gonna get into what he do best, and he's gonna explain all that good jazz and whatnot. But what's up, my man? It's nice seeing you today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem.
You got an awesome place here.
Yeah.
My name's Carter Bentley. I own Dynamic Restoration. Started it in October as a rebranding, but I've been in restoration for a lot longer than that. So yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. Like you said, you started in October, so like, what? Can you share the story behind of your business, like how you started it,
Yeah.
and what inspired you to make it, become what it is today?
Yeah, for sure. So I've had a lot of opportunities in the past through high school, and earlier than that to help on disaster relief teams, and free of charge we'd go to like Houston, Texas was one where I was there for a week, and we mucked out houses, and I just saw people in this terrible situation, and so really had a heart for helping people. I always have, and that was useful because I'm a very hands-on person. I love being active on a job site.
Right.
So what that did was kind of manifested into me getting different jobs that I was using my hand. I did welding, I did carpentry work. I've done a lot of manual labor jobs, and my uncle, Steve Brown, started Sure Restore in Winona, Mississippi. He started with his best friend Seth, because he sold insurance and he saw a great need for restoration in this area in Winona. So they ran the business for 7 years, did a great job. I got to help on a lot of those projects, and I was like, man, this is a really cool business, because I always did it for free in the past. Now it's like, well, okay, so you can make some money doing this. There's a living to be made out of restoration work. So like I said, I helped on some of their projects, and my uncle was diagnosed with cancer and fought it for, I want to say, over 5 years. Well, in his last few months of living, he and his best friend Seth, that were running the business, decided to give me the opportunity at running the business for them.
Right.
And so I did the best I could. They gave me a great platform. Honestly, Seth taught me so much about the industry and how to deal with customers, how to do water mitigation.
Right.
I mean, he sent me to school. He set me up for success, and I'm very grateful for him doing that and investing in me.
Yeah.
And so I took that encouragement and the leap of faith, quit my job 3 months before getting married, and started Sure Restore, started running Sure Restore. And, I was very new to it, and it was exciting. And so it was just kind of fake it till you make it for a little bit there, which most people that start out our age, we're doing that.
Yeah.
And what that led to was me running the business for 18 months. And then it worked out to where I was able to own that business, or have ownership in it. And then out of that, I rebranded and became Dynamic Restoration. So I own 100% of Dynamic Restoration. Um, and everything ended really well. It was a great transition. Um, Still very thankful for my uncle Steve and Aunt Debbie and Seth for the platform they gave me. But I mean, it did take a lot of, I mean, it was my willingness to do it and my efforts and definitely the Lord's provision.
Right.
So that's the story behind Dynamic. I'm here to stay. I can tell more about that in the future with some of the questions you've given me. But that's the story behind Dynamic.
And I want to kind of like go back to like that point where when you knew that they was gonna end up handing it over to you. Like, what was that feeling, knowing that you was gonna have something that you can look forward to every day to have, like, you know, because when we coming out of high school or even college, we looking for that next step. So like, how did that feel knowing that you was gonna be able to run this business at what you're doing now too?
Yeah. That's a great question. It was very relieving because I played college baseball and got an associate's degree, and then COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
And that squashed college baseball. That squashed a lot of my ambitions. And so that was a tough time. I came back to Starkville and didn't know what I was going to do. And so the opportunity that they gave me I was excited about it because I saw it as that next step. I was like, you know, this is a risk because there's really no telling where it could go, but I'm all about taking a risk and seeing what I can do. So yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Because like I said, I remember when I had that point where I was like, oh man, like, cause I played basketball in high school, and when I found this stuff, like the cameras and the video, and knowing that I could be creative and potentially to make money just by being creative with something like with that, it was a relief too. Yeah. And man, just having that, it just makes you, that what pulls you into the future. And that's one of my mentors said, I don't know if you know him, his name is Jim Ron. He said, make sure you just find something that pulls you into the future. If you got something that has you do that every day, you'll be fine. As long as it's just pulling you into the future, pulling you every day. So yeah, and once I found, I knew I was gonna be okay. I just had to make sure I be consistent and just stay on it, basically. Stay on it. But man, I wanna ask about like about your service. Like, I know what you do, like, well, can you explain a little bit more about like the type of projects you have first before I ask this question? Like, what is your typical project that you normally have to go in and work on?
Okay. I'm a 24/7 emergency response water mitigation company. And so what that means is Sunday night, your hot water heater floods your house. You call me and I will assemble my team. We'll get all the fans and dehumidifiers and demolition tools we need. We'll show up to the property and I'll document everything. And I work with your insurance. So I'll go in and tear everything out and I'll use my equipment to dry it.
Right.
And it can be as scientific as you want it to be, but the process is pretty simple for the most part, and you have to document all of it. And then you're dealing with insurance and the homeowner to make sure that their property is ready for putback. So I don't do any reconstruction. I just stay in the lane of mitigation and remediation for water damage inside of a home.
Okay, so can you give me like an example? Can you give me some examples of how like dynamic restoration have like went beyond and above like in critical situations with those projects? Like, I know you probably did way more to that project just to make sure they was okay afterwards. Like, can you give me some examples of when you did that for certain clients?
Yeah, so what I've noticed in this industry is not every house is built the same. Not every customer is the same. Not every location is the same. And all of those factors create a different situation every time. So you have to be dynamic. That's kind of what led me to my name, was like, you cannot be you have to be able to change your approach based on the situation at hand. And to be able to do that in different situations is crucial to being successful and doing things in a timely manner. So like I had a customer call me, and they had sewage back up in their property, and it was 2 weeks before Christmas, so they had
Man.
Christmas all set up, and
Yeah.
it was such a sad time because like a
Golly.
lot of their stuff got ruined. But being peace in the calm of the storm, just calm that lady down and that family, and just let them know that everything's going to be taken care of, and we did. They just got put back in their house, I want to say probably in January. So it was a pretty quick turnaround because we did the mitigation so fast. So, and even last year during Christmas, on Christmas Eve, I was at a church at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Oh man.
getting water out from a water line that had busted in the ceiling. So, as far as a specific testimony, I mean, a very simple one is I had some friends that they were about to have their baby. All right, so they're staying in an apartment, and like when I say about to have the baby, like they're on it's their due date that day.
Oh man.
And then they got water coming into their ceiling from a bad roof leak that spurred up because there was a bad storm that rolled through. And this happened like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And so I jump in there, and like they're gonna have to bring this baby home. So I can't go in and tear a bunch of drywall out and make this place disarray because they've got it set up for their baby. So like that's a unique situation. So I had to mitigate. I got up the water. I set up my dehumidifiers for 3 days. And worked around their system, their schedule, because they were ready to bring this baby home. And it worked out that the baby came like 4 or 5 days later, so I was able to dry it. But like having the foresight to not go in there and tear everything up because they're about to bring their baby home.
Here.
I can't do that. So just talking to people, talking to your customers, like what are your needs, what's going on in your life, because some people are sick and they need their air purifiers rolling so that they don't get sick from the debris. Some people are more susceptible to mold, so you can't not ask these questions, otherwise one, you could get in trouble, but two, you're just hurting your customer and you don't want that. So that would be one small situation where, just having a simple conversation and seeing your surroundings was helpful.
That's good. I like that a lot, because you're not just there just to do the job. Like, you paying close attention to not just only the job, but who they are as people. Because of course we all have problems that we dealing with, and I really do like that. I really do like that. So, and I had a question about you said one of your equipment. What's the name of it?
A dehumidifier?
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, so
exactly.
The dehumidifier's goal is to reduce the moisture content in the air.
Okay.
And what it does is through an evaporator core, it condenses the moisture and basically just pumps it through a line into a drain line in the house. It creates a high to low pressure. Okay. So when you take all the moisture out of this air, if there's moisture in a material like a sill plate in the bottom near the floor, it creates a low, have you ever heard how high pressure goes to low pressure? Yeah. So if you create low pressure in the atmosphere in the room, and you got your wall right here with the sill plate, it's going to pull that moisture out, because that moisture is want to go from high to low. So there's a lot of moisture here, then there's no moisture here, and it pulls it out, and that's what helps you dry those hard to get spots. And also heat causes evaporation. So you want, ideally you'd want a room that you're drying to sit around 82 to 85 degrees maybe. Yeah. And then a lot of fast air movement and those dehumidifiers pumping, and you creating a great drying atmosphere. So
that's dope. Yeah. I know I heard you talk about that not too long ago, but yeah, I'm glad you explained that a lot better, because I know they wouldn't like, what's exactly is that?
What's a dehumidifier?
That's why I want to ask that for sure. Yeah, but you kind of always already answered my my next question when you was talking about how you always ask questions about their personal life, because that's something I realized that was in your kind of like your motto, you know, just talking about the service and also caring for your clients as well. So you kind of already hit that, but like, man, can you tell me like a traumatic experience you had that was like probably like a close call on a project? Cause I know you do a lot of different. I know you probably do commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, you do commercial. I know, of course, you do residential and stuff. So like, have you ever had a moment where it was traumatic, not just for you, but your team as well? Like, where it was like, oh my God, that was close. That you can remember.
So I did a job when the tornado ripped through Winona not too long ago.
Okay, yeah.
I think it came through Houston.
I think it was Amory.
Oh, Amory. Okay, yeah. So
I think it was Amory.
Yeah, that was the same one. So we worked on this house that was really remote, way out in the boondocks. And this family's roof was ripped off. And this pitch on this roof was beyond sketchy. It was a tin roof too, so it's slippery.
Oh man, yeah.
And the goal was, because there was another storm running in, it was to put visqueen tarping over the entire roof to cover it up, and it was a monster roof.
Yeah.
So it took a lot, I want to say it took 2,000 square feet of visqueen to cover this roof.
Okay.
And so I'm up there, but I'm shorthanded. I had a guy that was sick. It was just me and another guy, and then one of the family members. I hired them while I was there because I needed help.
Yeah.
And they didn't want their house getting rained in again because it had already been stormed in. So that was really sketchy. Probably shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but you know, it had to be done. And so sometimes you do have to go outside your normal scope of comfortability so that you can help your customer. There's a fine line. I mean, you don't want to go too far because you could risk your well-being, and that's not very smart either. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. Probably shouldn't have done that. Looking back now, that was
crazy.
That was a bit too much.
Yeah, I know I had definitely a situation where I was like, God, I'm glad I did this, because if I didn't, I'd probably be in the hole for sure. Yeah. But and speaking on your team, like, man, like, for one, like, cause I had yet to build a team. Like, I have one person on my team that like actually helps me film, but like, of course, I call like certain family members my team because they always there to, you know, ideas and stuff like that. Right. But as far as just having a team, like, what can you give advice to people that's planning on building their team, like what to look for and how to manage, you know, people? If you got anything that can help.
Definitely I read a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And I got it on audio because I drive a lot. I've listened to that book 3 times, and it's transformed the way I deal with people. And basically what it speaks to is, if you want to motivate people, it's not going to be through, sometimes it'll be through money, but that doesn't go as far as simply being encouraging, uplifting, believing in somebody, giving them ownership of a task, not micromanaging them, trusting somebody to get the job done. That comes with, you know, there will be mistakes, and you have to be okay with that. But as far as building a team and growing a team, being a leader's hard. Right. And I'm learning that. I'm young, and I'm leading people that are sometimes older than me. Most of the time they're older than me, but the guys that I have on my crew now are younger than me or just as old as me. And, you know, they respect me, I think, because I really respect them, and I try to respect their time. I respect, you know, their wishes. I had a conversation with my lead guy, and I was like, look, you are helping me facilitate my dream. That's how it's working. I mean, right now, I'm employing you, and you're helping me reach my goals. But I want that to be mutual. I want you to know that I care about your dreams and your goals. Right. And if I can facilitate anything for you that'll help you get there, you know, by all means, let me in. Let me know what's going on, and I want to be here for you. And so, and it helps that he's one of my best friends, that we have that relationship, but also he's my best friend, and he's working with me. And so that creates sometimes a little bit of a clashing of heads, but I think that's healthy because, you know, I need to be held accountable too. Yeah,
true that. Can't have somebody that's scared to say something. Yeah,
right. True. So I accept that. You know, if they suggest something, I listen to them. just be good to people. You
Right.
know, if you're gonna build a team that you want to be successful, you need to have the trust in them to give them opportunity to show you that they can do something.
Right.
You know, and there's also a side of understanding when it's too far and it's too long, that you've given too much, and they're not, you know, they're not really coming around to the same way of thinking, or not necessarily the way of thinking, but just, you know, they're not wanting to help themselves.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their own ruts, and you can't pull people out of that unless
Yeah.
they want to themselves. So having the wisdom in that area is, and just having discernment is, it's difficult.
Yes.
But it ain't easy.
I
Bottom
bet.
line, it ain't easy, but being good to people is, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my some of my mentors said, like, man, just be a good person and treat people how you want to be treated, and it'll take you far. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I definitely do as well. But
Yeah.
like speaking of your team, of course, and saying like that, since you have like a friend of yours, like how, so like water damage can be like crazy scary for a homeowner and a business owner, and for them to trust you
Yeah, it's a big deal.
with that situation, like how do you give those type of clients a peace of mind?
Understanding that, like, usually somebody's home, not only is it their home, but it's their largest investment. You do have to establish trust right off the get-go.
Yeah.
So when I show up, I have a contract in hand, I have my equipment on hand. Like, I'm not really scatterbrained. I've created a system beforehand before I even show up to the front door.
Like
It
that.
shows I'm prepared. So I have my moisture meters, I have the technology I use to sketch houses, just ready to go. And I think that gives them trusting, knowing like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing because he's analyzing the situation well. The hardest part is getting my team to speak the same language, to understand what's going on. So sending them to an Atlanta training school for water mitigation to get IICRC certified is very important.
Yeah.
And that will happen as we grow and scale. Once again, we're young, and that's a big investment, very big investment for each individual person. So, yeah, communicating that you understand their situation and that everything's going to be okay, and that you are going to work with their insurance, and you're not just going to rip stuff up, dry it, and out the door and send them a bill.
Yeah.
And have no further relation, that's not how I think it should work. So,
and I got a question too, like about how old you was when you started Dynamic?
when I started Dynamic,
Yeah.
I was 24.
How are you now?
I'm 24.
You told wait.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you did say October. You did say October.
So yeah, October of 23 is
Okay.
when I rebranded, but I was 22
Oh,
when I
okay.
started with Sure Restore,
Okay.
the former company.
So when you started with them, like before Dynamic? With Seth.
What?
When you started with Seth, how old you were?
I was 22.
You was 22?
Yeah.
So what would you tell yourself, a 24-year-old now was tell a 22-year-old, like all the stuff you didn't learn in these 2 years, what would be one of the main things you would say to them?
Trust the Lord. I mean, period. There was a period of about 3 or 4 months where I had anxiety attacks. And I've never experienced anxiety attacks before, ever. And so I didn't even know what was going on with me. It's a physical thing when you get an anxiety attack, and I didn't know what was going on. You know? I was like, I just need to drink some water or something.
Yeah.
Step away. But no, I was getting so caught up in the little details, which are important, but at the same time, like, trusting in the Father's provision for me and the company is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. Like, you know, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. It says that in Proverbs. If I trust in the Lord and be diligent with what he's given me to steward and seek first the kingdom, that is what I would just continue to say over my 22-year-old self and my 18-year-old self and my 12-year-old self. Like that is what I want to run with for the rest of my life. And I think that, that's the best place to be.
Yeah.
Is trusting in the Lord. And that might, there's nothing cliche about what I just said. It's the truth. And if somebody watching this doesn't believe it, I would just say try it.
Yeah.
Just trust in the Lord. Like lay it down. Lay down your problem, lay down your issue, and just give it to the Lord and ask him, like, where's the wisdom in this? Like, what do I need to do? What's the next step? Because when I was 22 and took on a big responsibility of paying off nearly $200,000 of debt, I was like, what do I know? What am I going to do? And it happened in 18 months while still maintaining and adding assets to the business. And that was the provision of the Lord.
Nice.
It was amazing, and it's still amazing.
It is.
Like there will be some weeks when it's Sunday night and I'm like, all right, what are we doing this week?
Yeah.
It could be like that sometimes, and then boom, get a call, and then we're busy. And that's just how it works. So at this point, I'm convinced. I'm like, okay, I got nothing to worry about.
Like you showed up.
Hit a cash flow problem. Hit a cash flow. Wow. Hit a cash flow problem recently, and I was like, well, there's nothing I can do. Worrying is not going to help me. I've done my due diligence to reach out to these customers.
Yeah.
So I got to trust in the Lord.
Yeah.
And then a few random jobs came up that I was able to get paid quickly on, and they filled the gap.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Yeah.
That would be the testimony there. That's what I would tell my 22-year-old self is it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. And I can definitely, I can say the same, because like when I was doing the door-to-door thing, like I was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And I was by myself like majority of that time. And so just being out there and knowing that like nobody don't care, like nobody knows you, like I knew that I was going to run into that, but I just knew like just keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
Just keep going. Just trust in the process. Just believe in yourself, and all this stuff is just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. But just keep working.
Yep.
And yeah, I used to always ask God, like, man, just give me strength. Every morning I used to wake up, just give me strength, just to go in there and stay who I am and what I do, and just keep trying. Eventually, now I am where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Just because I kept trying, for sure.
Killing it.
Heck yeah, man. Busy ain't a word. I can say that. But man, I would want to ask, because not, like I said, that having those type of responsibilities, of course, you're used to it. But a lot of other people be like, man, I could never. Like having that responsibility, being able to take somebody home from this state to that state, they probably wouldn't. So I want to ask about like your hobbies, like what you do to like relax yourself when you're not at work or whatnot.
I tend to be a pretty busy person. Like sitting on the couch with no agenda doesn't really sit well with me. So a lot of my activities, things I like to do is spend time with my wife. It's been a really precious first. We are almost married for 2 years, so that's been my favorite part of my life. Like, and I wouldn't be able to do this business without her. So I'm very thankful for her. That would be my number one hobby, but that's my hobby. That's my wife. That's my bride. So love that. Love living life with her. As far as what I do, I love to hunt. I like to take care of my house and my yard and things like that. Fix things, build things. I really, before even getting into Dynamic, my goal was to become a commercial pilot. So I pursued that really hard. I still am. I have an airplane that I fly to build time, and I still want to do that. 10 years from now, I don't know what life's going to look like, but the idea would be that I could fly commercially for a private company, a private jet. That would be the dream. So a lot of different things going on, but I have 168 hours and I'm still climbing. So that's a great hobby. I lead worship at my church. I'm not the main leader, but I do participate in leading worship, playing guitar and singing a little bit.
Right.
So that's fun. And spending time with family. That's important.
Dope. So you can never be too old to fly a plane, right? Can you be? Is it a certain? I mean, I know like when you get like you can't see and stuff, but
yeah, I was gonna say if you can pass a medical, you can fly.
You know, so hey,
yeah. If somebody's watching this is 70 years old and they're like, I want to go fly. If you can pass that medical and pass the test and the proficiency test with an instructor,
that'd be dope.
Go for it.
Yeah, that'd be dope for sure. But yeah, man. I had a question. It just totally went blank, man. I just went blank out of nowhere.
I could speak to a little bit of what aviation did for me.
Yeah, speak on that.
So anybody watching this, if you have a dream and it gets crushed and you didn't feel like you were able to finish, and you have never really felt completed in something, I encourage you to pick a goal and reach it, meet it, and accomplish something great. Chase something that's worth chasing and complete it. Right. That was what I did with aviation. When I got my private pilot license, it gave me the confidence to get out of the rut I was in from the COVID era where I did not know what I was going to do. Right. And I completed that, and it transformed my confidence in my abilities, because I had a little bit of identity issues when I didn't reach my goal and what I envisioned for my college baseball career. Right. Yeah. So like what you've done with your business and Konnect Edits, like you were like, I'm gonna do this, and you chased it and you completed something. Like you got that big commercial. I would say that's probably, I don't know what the climax of your career is, but you've done several big commercials, and it's like you worked really hard to get all the equipment and everything, and all these things fell into place for you to achieve that goal. Yeah. And now the sky's the limit, because you're like, I can do this. Yeah. Like I just got approached for a really large job in Tupelo that I'm gonna go look at after this, and it's like it's out of my league. I know it, but I also know that I can figure out a way to get it done. And if I get this job done, it'll open up an opportunity for so much more work in the future. So dream big.
Definitely dream big, definitely, because I remember my first, like I said, I was going door to door, and I got like business cards of all the people I met in that time, like a year's times, man, and people, you would have thought I at least worked for like 100 of them people. Yeah. But like only at that time I only worked for one. Dang. And it was like it was a big factory though.
Oh, cool. And
so after that, they actually put that commercial on TV.
Wow.
And I was like, bro, my work is actually on TV, and it stayed on it for like a year or two. And I was like, that's crazy. And that was one of my goals. And I hit it so early that I didn't realize that it was my goal.
That's awesome.
But that happened. Then next thing you know, I know the next year I had ended up getting like 3 more on TV. Just because I said I wanted that. I wanted that. And then another one, like prime example, this studio, like I always tell the story. I told my dad that I was going to get a studio 5-6 years from that time, and I got it in 2.
There you go.
Because I was always thinking about it, working towards it, like thinking of how much gear I need to get to that point where I can be financially ready for it. Yeah. And once I was able to do it, and the time it presented itself, we was ready to do it. Yeah. And man, it just fell in my lap, and I make sure now, same thing, I'm always creating new goals. Like a lot of people like, dang, you sound like you did all your goals. Like, nah, you always creating new ones.
Yeah.
Always. Like even like right now, like I recently I kind of already hit it that how many weddings I wanted a year. But now I upped that, of course.
There's only so many Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, I know, but I upped it by at least 30. I want to hit 30.
Come on, that's awesome.
And if I get to 30, I know I'm gonna be okay for sure. But I want to hire a photographer, and I know if I hire a photographer, that's gonna be so easy to hit 30 easily. So that's one of my next big goals to do. That I know that's like big, because of course it's like little other stuff. But other than that, that's one of my biggest ones. that I have. But definitely, I love that saying because, I mean, like I said, just find something that's gonna pull you into the future that makes you get up in the morning, that makes you wanna see the next day, makes you wanna, relive, when you done it and you be able to say, yeah, I done that, because a lot of people don't have that. And I always been told, like, don't live a life where you just regret everything you do. Like, if you know you're gonna regret it, you probably should do it.
Yeah.
Big time, you should probably do it. But man, I know, cause like what you doing, man, it's like, it's no, I would ask that, like, I mean you do, but do you enjoy the lifestyle you have? Like, cause a lot of people, they see business owners, a lot of people don't know how hard it is to do what we do. Cause another thing, we constantly thinking about this stuff. It's not like when like you said, you can't even sit. Like, I'm the same way. Like, if I'm sitting for a period of time, like, I'm gonna feel like I'm getting behind.
Yeah.
And I probably just done like 5 projects.
Yeah.
But can you like tell me like the lifestyle? Like, do you really like enjoy that lifestyle? For the most part. Do you think you could be able to do it for like years to come, like years and years?
I am learning. I'm 2 years into this.
Yeah.
I am learning. It takes quite the hustle. It takes quite the commitment. And I do enjoy that, and I do enjoy my lifestyle. I'm very blessed. I've been able to get a pretty good jump start on, having material things. But it would be wise not to get caught up in that and really live within my means.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the mentality I have to have, I am always thinking about it. Like my wife at night will be having a conversation with me, and I might honestly be zoned out thinking about a job, and like, so there's unhealthy things about it that you really need to take time away from the business, away from that thought, and just do something new, refresh yourself, and then come back to it. If you get burnt out, it's not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping your business. You're not helping your employees. You're not helping your spouse. So I do enjoy it. I do love it. I get to make my own schedule, and for the most part.
Yeah.
Basically, becoming a business owner means you don't work for one person anymore. You work for 100. So
true.
Yeah. So all your customers are your boss.
Yeah.
Because you have to make them happy. So,
that is true.
But I could do it for years to come if I set in place the boundaries of getting proper rest and giving my spouse the time that she needs, and my family, my future family. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, I'm enjoying the lifestyle. I get to peel out when I need to and come do things like this. Like if I worked for somebody, I wouldn't be on an entrepreneur podcast with you and Konnect Edits. I'd be somewhere working for somebody else. So, I do like it. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to make it my identity, because my identity needs to be placed in the only thing that's firm and true, and that's the Lord. That's Jesus. So if I operate out of my identity as a son of God, as a child of God, know that I'm loved, know that there's grace, know that I'm going to be provided for, it takes care of the rest. Like it takes care of.
It does.
As if I tackle this from a worldly perspective, it's probably not going to be. It could be successful, but is it promoting the kingdom of God? Is it giving people hope and joy and seeing Jesus? Like that would be the goal that I have. So if I'm, I might have spoken to that a little bit too deep.
Nah, it ain't too deep, man. Nah, you get deep as you want to be. I'm a deep guy anyway, because I know like it's still conversations that I haven't had yet on the podcast that I know I'm gonna end up having, but it probably gonna be overlooked. I had conversations already that people just went over their head.
Yeah,
I can just tell, because like people don't think like that, and people don't read the stuff that I read. It, not everybody at least, but nah, man, I'm all for being deep, man, for sure. But I definitely want to, since we talk about like the future, like where do you see dynamic restoration and how it's evolving. And since you meeting these challenges, like where do you see your company in the industry, and also like all the innovations that you've been implementing? Like where you see it?
That's a great question. I had a goal about a year ago to start looking for a building. So that Dynamic could have a headquarters. And I found a building, and I'm going to buy this building. I'm actually going to sign the contract this Friday. Closing will be August. It's a nice location in Starkville. It's great for growth. And I think what that's going to tell the community is like, I'm here to stay. I'm not looking to go anywhere. I have really good competition in Starkville, and I like that. That's fine. I do think that we offer something genuine, something real, and the others do as well, but like there's certain services I don't offer so that I can do the one really well. And it also gives my customer flexibility to do what they want to on the putback side. So I only do mitigation so that I can work with a contractor, a licensed contractor, to do the putback, and then that homeowner can deal with that contractor, and it's not all in-house, which is I can't facilitate that right now anyway. But I do think that it's a great niche, a great way to go. So I think people will appreciate that as time goes on, not being bound to one company to do the whole service for you. Now I think that's a great business model. And I think it's excellent. Like Paul Davis, they do an excellent job at what they do. And I'm so glad that they're in Starkville to fill that need.
Right.
But there's plenty of work for me as well, in Dynamic. So, I mean, I really think that, you know, in the next 2 or 3 years, I'm probably going to have somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 employees.
Okay.
Definitely will already have the office space established and systems in place, but I really love the Starkville community. I really want to help even the surrounding areas. Like I live in Mathiston now.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, so I want to help Webster County and serve in Webster County. I want to come up to Houston when I can. I did a job here not long ago.
Did you?
Yeah, so I mean, I do travel, and I think as we get more trucks and more tools and it's just that's where I see it going.
Now, I was gonna ask you, would you be open, like in the future, to open up another building in another city? Like, would that be a thought to possibly, let's say, if you wanted to get that big? Because some people, you know, they don't want that many employees.
Right.
They don't, you know.
Right.
But you never know. But like, have you ever thought of that? Like possibly doing like, I don't know, Columbus area or like you said, like up in this area, Houston. Because I have no idea who does it in this area. Like,
it probably would come from Tupelo.
Probably.
There's a company in Tupelo that would come. But I definitely have. I've been approached by some people that have encouraged me to do that. I think I'll know when it's time. I'm definitely not opposed to it, to having a dynamic restoration in Oxford or something like that. You know, that'd be cool. Or Tupelo. I do see and have vision for that. I don't know how it will come about, whether there's, you know, another restoration business that might be going out of business and there's opportunity to buy it and turn it into dynamic and put a new culture there and try to establish something, or start from the ground up. I don't know what that looks like, but I would like to, you know.
I'd like to try it.
I don't want to be so closed-minded that I miss out on a great opportunity to bless people with a good service.
Nice. And that's why I was gonna ask you too, like, can you explain like what sets you apart from your competitors?
I provide, so the insurance world has a standard. It's called the S500, which is for water mitigation and mold and just cleaning in general, on specific to water mitigation. So what sets me apart but also keeps me in line is that standard. So I provide the same service that Paul Davis does, or Service Master or ServPro. I have the same standard to meet, the same criteria, because insurance requires my estimates and my documentation to all be the same across the platform. So I think it's very important that I have those investments to be the same as other people. Now, as far as what makes me different is I think the way I carry myself, the way I communicate with customers, how I'm genuine, what sets me apart outside of maintaining the standard that's required for mitigation is how I communicate with my guys and train them so that they can not be duplicates of me, because I want them to be themselves, but uphold a standard of integrity. Having integrity on a job is a big thing. I mean, we're in somebody's house with a lot of very expensive items and different things like that. You know, I've got to be able to trust my guys, and the homeowner trusts my guys.
Yeah.
So doing a good job, caring about the customer's property and their needs, that's really what sets me apart.
Yeah. It just hit me. Like, have you ever done a mansion? Like,
so I don't know if you could call it. I've been in some definitely $750,000 houses, like
tough.
750 grand, 500 grand, 600 grand, like some show enough really nice houses.
Yeah.
And so then still trust in a customer that has that much money tied up into a home that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take on, a lot to think about. I did a house that it was in Winona, and they had collector's items and memorabilia and just paintings and sculptures and pottery all throughout the house. The walls were covered in it. Like it was like a museum.
Yeah.
And we had to go in and demo an upstairs and downstairs bathroom and some flooring. And that was a very challenging job because, I mean, if you swung a flooring protection the wrong way, when you're like a roll of flooring protection and you swipe a wall, there could be several $1,000s hanging on that wall. But somebody estimated that it was probably about $1 million to $1.5 million worth of artifacts and things that were in that house.
Oh my God, bro.
So there's a lot of liability going into somebody's home. A lot.
Big time. Dynamic restoration. Golly. Yeah. I love the name, by the way. I love the name Dynamic because I just love that, because we have to be dynamic in what we do too.
Yeah.
But the branding in it, like, what was the concept of the branding? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah. I wanted simplicity. When I talked to my logo designer, who I have a really good relationship with, he suggested to be clear, concise, and have a bold name, bold brand. And so it took a little bit to come up with the dynamic restoration. He had me go through the process of like, what were my core values, what's needed on a job site, some of the things you've asked me, and one of them is like being dynamic. That's why I came up with dynamic. It's like you have to be able to change your way of thinking to accommodate a person or a property or whatever you're doing. So that's behind the name. But as far as like our color scheme, it's black, silver, and white. And I had so many people that are like, you need to throw some color in there. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. So I want, like, a lot of companies you see out there get a lot of wraps and they look awesome. I'm not knocking them at all. But I didn't really want to be flashy. I think something can be said about being simple and not trying to have all the frills and thrills, but just doing a great job and being a great person and providing a service that people can trust. So, and also there's a lot of money to invest in wraps and stuff that I just don't have right now. So, you know, maybe one day I'll get a cool wrap, but it's probably still going to be black, silver, and white. You know, I don't want to change that. And my branding guide, it's really fun to go through because there's a lot of our culture wrapped up in it and what these colors mean, and we just want to be bold, make a statement, and be simple, and do a great job.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of that type of industry, I don't think of loud colors, no way.
Right.
I don't, at least. I think of like you said, like dark colors. Like gray will be the lightest. Gray or white will be the lightest, I think. If you got like, I wouldn't think of a green.
Right.
I wouldn't think that. So I like that fact. And plus black is my favorite color anyway. but
Clearly.
you know what I'm saying? I like that. I like the scheme. So did the person that made it, like, what did he kind of like talk to you about the scheme? Did he kind of throw some ideas to you?
Yeah. So this was the first logo he pitched to me, and so I'm usually when I see something I want or I like, that's what I go with. I just follow it. So when he showed this to me, I was like, that's it. He nailed it. He asked me a lot of questions about like what we do in our culture, and I had this crazy idea to have a mascot like at the tail end of it, and I was like, what could you do about like getting an animal like a gorilla, and wearing a hat? Because I was like, I like to think that when my crew goes in there, we're gonna get the job done. And like we're tough. It takes grit to do what we do. If you walk into a house that's full of sewage, like, you gotta have a tough stomach. You gotta be willing to do this job and deal with customers. So anyway, I like the gorilla, and so he worked up a little something special, and I really enjoyed it.
I like that.
It's a nice little touch to the brand, and I think it creates more brand recognition. People are noticing the gorilla a whole lot more. It's on the back of all my shirts and hoodies, and it's on my trailer. It'll be on all my trucks. It'll just be kind of like a funny, cool, meaningful stamp emblem.
I like the gorilla. I ain't gonna lie, I like the gorilla because, like I said, it's tough.
Yeah.
And what you do, you have to be tough.
Yeah.
You got to have them. Yeah. You got to be stone cold out here to
Waking
do that.
up at 2 a.m. to go vacuum out some water and set up equipment and tear drywall out.
A lot of people ain't gonna do that.
That'll ruin you.
A lot of people
do it too many times.
Yeah, man. They ain't not gonna want to do that. I mean, but it takes me back to when I was doing mines. I wanted it simple. I was not a guy that just all this different type of stuff. So I just initially thought I know I wanted it to be a camera, and then I was like, what's something I haven't seen anybody do? Polaroid. People love Polaroid, and I never seen a Polaroid logo anywhere. And so that's where it came about. So I just made sure I put my name and found a certain logo, like Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
Stamp it.
Cool.
And just kept it. That was it. Because now every time you see Polaroid, you're going to think of a cameraman. Yeah,
that's right.
you're going to think of me. So
Konnect
Edits, whatever. It is.
What's your favorite thing to do as far as videography?
Man, I love working with contractors. Love just about any contractor. Like, even if with you, when we work in the future, I'm gonna love that, because being able to see what y'all do and being with y'all during, because I'm gonna be dirty with you. I'm not gonna be all clean.
Right.
If I have to wear boots, I'm gonna wear boots.
Yep.
Like, a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
But specifically, like in the past, definitely turf companies.
Oh yeah.
Like the turf, because of course I get to travel, but I get to meet the people of the lovely homes, or if they got a business, I get to potentially work with them because I'm shooting for the company already, and they seeing me in action. And but yeah, I love those. I mean, the first one I did, man, I was like, man, if I could do this every week, I would. I would, man, because it's just a whole different experience, man, because most of the people you meet, they genuine people. And coming from a small town like Houston, you don't see stuff like that. A lot of us don't, at least. And me, especially like me, I'm a homebody, so I don't go nowhere. I work, I'll go out and work, but I'd rather be at home.
Yeah.
So being able to go out there and meet the people and see the cities and see the landscapes is very nice, for sure. I would definitely say that. Second, it would probably be, I don't know. Second, really any type of video project, but mainly if it's with a contractor, I'm gonna be down. I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's do it.
That's cool.
Cause I get to experience the true behind the scenes of everything, legit. Cause a lot of people, they don't realize all the work. Like one company, a security alarm company, you never thought they have to go in so early. They have to go when they building up. Sometimes, for certain companies, you'll think they'll wait till they build up the building. No, they'll go while they working on the wood and stuff. God, I didn't know y'all do it like that.
That's cool.
So I get to see stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's you never thought they'd go in that early and go ahead and wire it up.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, never thought that. And so it was a lot of different ones, towing. Oh my God. like I respect truck drivers so much now, cause like being in them big tow trucks, like how much they have to do to stop that truck. You don't realize that when you're in that car, but like, man, I seen them how they have to stop it. And then seeing how much they get disrespected all the time. It's like, dang, you know? Yeah, and then, you know, a lot of them, they be in rough areas where they taking these people's cars, like, man, it could be life and death. Yeah. Just about, depending where you at. And like, I remember being in one truck with one guy, and yeah, he had the stuff on him. He had the gun on him just to make sure we was okay, cause like he was telling me like, man, you gonna be okay, but just you know, be wary. Yeah. You know, and I was down for it, cause but it's nothing happened. We had fun. I had a blast with that dude. Yeah. Driving around the city with him and being able to do what he do and how they hook it on the truck. Cause man, yeah, it was, I could see all that behind the scenes. I have reached out. I had a chance, well, I wouldn't say, kind of a chance to work with, I think it was Serve Pro, yeah. Yeah, and I had reached out to a guy. Since you saying they're a franchise, they probably all over there. But yeah, I think he was more a two-player. But I don't never see, I see pictures, but like I never seen anybody like have any type of commercial work. Like any. So that's what I was saying to you. Like when we do this, I'm gonna make sure like you in the good light, cause you gonna be above them already. Cause I never seen any of them do that.
I've never seen a Paul Davis commercial. I've never seen a Service Master, Serve Pro. Maybe I've seen Serve Pro commercial now that I think about it, but I have, not much.
Right, but like I'm thinking
they got good websites. They might have a good social media.
Right. Maybe. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what's gonna set you apart. Cause most people, you know, pictures are nice, but like, man, now we get information from videos. Yeah. Like I know my brother. Yeah, I asked him like, bro, figure this out. He go to TikTok. Like, what are you going to TikTok for? You know, for real. I was a YouTube guy. Same. Turned to find out, my dad was a Google guy, and my grandfather, he was a word to word. Yeah. You know, because you know the stuff wasn't out yet. So, but like, man, video is where that's what I've been trying to tell people. Like, if you want them to really know about you and see what you do,
make a great video.
Get a good video. Yeah. A good video. At least one good one. And so when you got multiple ones, like, yeah, you just gonna be like, this is the guy.
Push them everywhere.
Like, legit. That's why I told you, like, when you go with that package, you're not just gonna get 3. Cause I said it, you was gonna get like, I think it was like a minute, and probably like a minute 15 30, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Nah, you're gonna end up getting more than that. Okay. It's gonna be probably like short clips, but that's all you need. You need to get good short clips to be able to keep posting. Yep. And I don't care if it's just one a week or one every 2 weeks, but I know that's gonna definitely set you apart. Cause in Mississippi, I realize that we so far behind on a lot of stuff. Like,
yeah, Mississippi is far behind. I do see a huge influx in the next 10 years. Yeah, of people moving to the South as a whole, but definitely Mississippi. I mean, look, there's a whole lot of industry going in Jackson right now. Like a lot.
It is.
Amazon's moving in there. Coca-Cola's building a new plant. Like no. And I know you're probably up on that because you want to reach out to these people for commercials. Yeah. But I'm pretty optimistic about the state of Mississippi becoming I don't know about the leading in industry, because it probably never will be, but new industry, new growth. Yeah. And people investing in this state. Yeah, I see it happening.
A lot of money to be made in this state. Because like I went to a conference where like they was talking about AI and stuff. Like a lot of people still don't know about AI.
Dude, AI is incredible.
A lot of people, like these people drove 3 hours just to come to this meeting. Like what? And the people that was over the meeting, they was like, we doing in bigger cities, people won't even drive 20 minutes just to come see this stuff. So that just shows you that, that just showed me that how far behind a lot of people, of course I ain't saying everybody, but a lot of people just don't know about it. Yeah. And they want to know about it, so.
It's a great tool, man. I use it just to give me new ideas. Like that thing will brainstorm for you. It'll help you create a great list of questions. Or,
it's amazing, man. It is amazing, man. It makes your job easy. I was just talking to a photographer yesterday, and she was trying to get into the corporate work, and I know how hard it is, because you're not gonna get it off the bat like you think you're gonna get it. Even though you're good, you can be like the best in Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's still gonna take you time to get to where you wanna be. And so I was telling her that. So I was like, look, she was talking about joining a BNI group, you know, because it was her first time ever being in one. I said, look, this is what you should do. Just go visit some more. Visit at first and see which one is best for you.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, also try to make like connections with those people in that group.
Yeah.
Not just go there and see, also make connections. And over time, when the years passing, they're gonna be calling you because they remember you. Because I told her I still get clients. I've been getting people from 2-3 years ago I can work for now. Because I've been reaching out to them each month or every 2 months. So yeah, it's like stuff like that, you know. She was just trying to, you can tell in her face, she really want this to work. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna tell her, like, just do this. And that's how I did it. And so, but yeah, man, some people that don't understand that when running a business, they were like, yeah, I want to start this company. Like, well, are you sure? You know, are you sure?
I know. It's funny because, like, as confident as I am in it, like 3 days ago, I was like, I really want to keep doing this. I could just go work for somebody, go home at 5 o'clock, and the rest of the day is mine. I got nothing to worry about. Show up at 8 o'clock the next day to do the same thing. But then I'm like, no, that drives me crazy.
Yeah. It's more rewarding when you're doing it this way.
Yeah.
It's way more rewarding because I had so many opportunities where I had customers or people that I was trying to work for, they try to bring me in-house. That's how I knew I had something, because so many of them were like, look, you just join our team, we'll pay you this much every week. And it was good money for me where I was at. Like, I could have easily, because like I had no bills, like I could like get me a brand new car. You know, a lot of them, that's what they would probably do with that money. But I was like, I can get some of this stuff that I need quick. But I was like, you know what, nah, this is a legacy thing, man. Like my dad done this, my grandfather done this. Like, I want to be the one to do it all. So I just kept it like that.
That's awesome, man.
Man, it was good having you. My man Carter came through for me. It was good seeing you again. We're going to see each other anyway Thursday, but it's good seeing you always.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know how it is with business, how the days go by. But man, another episode done and out. I appreciate you coming here once again.
For sure.
And man,
thanks for having me.
I see y'all when I see you. Deuce.